Hello, everybody.
What's going on, everybody?
Wednesday Night Live. Here we go.
Got my man
have
Bailey in
Mr.
the house.
Yeah, we have Mr. Bailey from Serious Angler Podcast and Be the Fish. I believe that's all the channels and everything you have, right?
I hope so. I don't know what else is out there, but those are the ones I know of.
Yeah. That's awesome. So thank you so much for hopping on. This is going to be a fun stream. Hopefully everybody here in the chat enjoys it, and we're going to get rolling, talking fishing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I think the gang's all here already.
Yeah, we got Scott, Dave, Adam Oden, Bass with Big Malone, Michael Bradley in here, Frank.
What's up, Frank?
Oh, man.
Frank
is our local jokester, I guess you could say.
Frank's our Canadian brethren.
Everybody.
Canadian.
Yeah, our Canadian brethren, eh?
Hey. Some Jimmy Hortons, brother.
What's up, dude?
Pretty much. Peg Leg Fisherman. What's up, man?
There he is.
Little Rich. Dave. I think that's everybody that's in here right now.
Is Bassin and Big Malone in here? I think he's in here.
Yes, he is.
So Bassin and Big Malone and Little Rich. I am the absolute worst. Still haven't sent out your giveaway. Did not forget about you. I think I'm going to send that out next week, just in time for the spring. Malone might have started fishing already. He's down in Virginia, but Little Rich, you probably still got a little ice. So I got you. It's coming.
You're the new Debo.
Didn't forget about you. Just wanted to shout that out. Sorry about that, but
all right, nice. So if you guys don't know, this is Bailey from the Serious Angler Podcast. Awesome podcast. Go check it out. All the links for his socials that we know about are in the description below. So you guys go check him out down there. And we're gonna get right into this. So Bailey, how'd you get into fishing? Did you get in from your grandpa, or how'd you get into this amazing sport?
Yeah, my dad and my grandfather are to blame for this lifelong addiction that has consumed my every waking moment, pretty much. My family's all the guys in my family have been outdoorsmen for as far back as I can recall. Like my great grandfather he had like this 16-foot aluminum. He'd go out in Lake Erie and 4-footers and troll for walleye kind of deal, like a little boat that 4-footers for a lot of guys with bass boats now is nothing, but with his little aluminum, you'd be you're a psychopath for going out, So which is probably why it's this obsession has dropped as far down to my brother and I. But yeah, always been an outdoorsman for as long as I can recall. My dad really got me heavily into bass fishing specifically. Always provided me an outlet. Even when we had a boat and he sold the boat, maybe it was because I bothered him about it so many times, but helped me get into the kayak route, which I'm still in as of this day. And really just helped kind of flourish that the passion for getting outside and not inside staring at a screen.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's I think I'm glad to be in the sport. Definitely not happy that I'm spending this much money and dedicating this much time to it sometimes, but it's awesome. It's so much
time. I don't mind. I'm okay with it. I love being outdoors, love catching them. Cheddar, on the other hand.
That's it gets pricey eventually.
Yeah, especially looking at that big swim bait wall behind you.
Yeah, right.
That's all I throw pretty much.
A house with that wall behind you.
Kids investing.
Yeah, that's my obsession.
That's probably a nice pre-owned vehicle right there you got behind you.
Pretty much.
People got stocks. He's got swim baits.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's I love doing that. I'm not sure if you've ever done any of that stuff. Gotten into the bigger stuff. Have you?
I haven't gone full bore. I haven't been able to go buy $100+ swim bait, but I did just buy a couple bull sheds. I will admit that's I've made a step up. We're getting a little bit closer. No, but I throw Shine Glides and Arashi Glides, stuff like that. More your $20-$30 stuff. Because I don't know, dude. I look at $100 and I'm like, how many other things I could get.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Being cheap, but dude, it's awesome though. We have a bunch of clearwater fisheries up here in the Northeast that dude, they mash glides, and it's so cool. Like, it's my favorite practice bait in regards to there's a lot of fish, big fish that show themselves that, won't
Mhm.
Mhm.
eat the bait or they'll tail it. I mean, like, you can be really efficient and, especially on certain times of year when they're gonna stay there, that you throw a big glide bait in practice, you don't have to catch any fish to know that they're gonna be there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's a super
Yep.
deal for me that I've always got one, with me in practice, especially clear water, is those fish will come out and say hello. Like, I always say sometimes on my videos where, like, "We're gonna make fish say hi to me today versus me say it." It brings them out, man. It's a
Definitely.
uh,
I have
Yeah.
to mess with them.
You need to use the ones that I sent you that I made
No,
for
I'm
you.
going to.
I
I'm
know
like
if you
anxious.
get a 1/6, I'll send you more.
well, I
I'll
mean,
do
dude,
that.
like,
It's the
even for
deal
people
there.
that look at them, they're like, "Man," because like, the swim baiting niche right now is blowing up, and it's super cool. I love
It
it. It's like
is.
almost like a true form of hunting, for
Mhm.
trophies, and,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, dude, these things are so expensive." Like, you can get a Shine Glide for $20.
Mhm.
It throws like
exactly.
a helicopter, but it walks like a dream. Like, you'll be it's a great way to get into it.
Definitely, for sure. And there's plenty of like different cheap options,
Yeah.
soft baits, hard baits, whatever there is, whatever. You have plenty of different budget options. You have plenty of different super expensive options
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah.
other options that'll scam you, like Andrew Hinkle.
Oh,
There's
boy.
plenty of different ones that are out there. So definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got a few more people in here. What's up, Matt?
Did I have 2 streams? I didn't have 2 streams.
No, I scheduled all the other ones. So we have Matt,
Yeah,
Stefan,
there's a
TK,
couple
and a bunch of
scheduled.
others. So yeah, we have those scheduled for at the moment. But yes, Frank, I have that bait. The clear coat is right now curing. I will ship that out this week to you. Yeah. So
That's
I'm sure you're excited to fish that. But yeah, how'd you get into the podcast? Like the whole YouTube thing from fishing into like the whole YouTube space. Like how'd you get into that? Because that's
Yeah,
something
so
really kind of weird to get into sometimes, you know?
yeah, yeah. I feel like the podcast especially, I mean, it's, podcasting as a whole is really blowing up nowadays, I think, because
Mhm.
I think obviously people are so into music still, but I think when people realize, hey, I can learn while I'm working out in the morning or I'm doing
Mhm.
something with my hands, like I can still be learning, when they're driving, and like people realize that they can multitask
Mhm.
with a podcast. And obviously, from starting a podcast or running a podcast, you need to be able to talk and be able to like have a hard time stop talking, and that's always kind of been me. Is
Mhm.
I obviously like to talk, but it started about 3.5 years ago. I got an internship because I got my bachelor's and master's in sport management, thinking I was going to work in college athletics, and I had an
Mhm.
internship at the athletic department at University of Notre Dame. And what originally turned into me working for 3 different fall sport teams turned into every single fall sport and every single winter sport. So my weeks were pretty dang busy as an intern. So my fishing time went from a couple hours a week to 0 hours a week, and I was obviously a little distraught because fishing keeps me sane.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
always was like I was a big like Joe Rogan guy. Like I would binge
Mhm.
podcasts, and I had a buddy who's like, "Hey, dude, just start a podcast. Like you can start inviting people on, and that's your way of like getting your fix of fishing. You're still learning that way because I've always loved tournament fishing, but my thing is I could give up tournament fishing as long as I'm still actively pursuing new routes of fishing or actively trying to learn something every single day type of deal. And
Mhm.
that was kind of my route where I was like, all right, downloaded Zoom, put it on a laptop, had no organization whatsoever. It was horrible. And started like shooting off DMs on Instagram, made a page for it and was like, hey, dude, do you want to come talk fishing on my podcast? And it was just like a horrible Zoom link that would drop like 4 times an episode and I have to like restart it. It was so bad. And,
Oh man.
I
but yeah,
remember
it just kind of stemmed it like, hey, maybe I should get consistent with this now. It might make my life a little bit more organized, especially after the internship ended, and kind of just blossomed into this deal now that I do every single week. Haven't missed a show for, well, I take that back. There's been like a week or two here and there that I missed a show, but we've been going strong for three and a
Mhm.
half years. Started just me and have
Nice.
2 co-hosts now, 3 shows on the network with a fourth one coming in June. It's been
Yeah,
it's a big portion of life's passion for me now.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really blown up. It has. It's like gotten like
Sick.
really big. You have a lot of great guests on that have a lot of great information. Like it's just like you listen to one podcast and you're just like, wow, that's a lot of information. I got to process that now. And you're just like, there's so many podcasts out there
Mhm.
and there's so much information that you can take in. And it's awesome that there's so many out there. It's really great.
Yeah, I'll to not to humble brag here for a second, but if you told 8-year-old me that I'd have Hank Parker on a podcast, I'd probably tell you you're straight out of your mind. But super cool, man. Like bucket list deal. We got Hank Parker on the show a couple weeks back. It's super cool. We had Brian Thrift, who's one of my favorite anglers. We had him on Tuesday night, who just won 300 grand fishing this past Sunday. Like it's a wild sport, but I love it because, like, dude, we can get the best of the best in these in fishing, and they can be so accessible to reaching out on social media and getting them on a podcast where it's like, I can start a hockey podcast. There's no way I'm getting the top pros in NHL or NBA or NFL or whatever to get out. Fishing's so cool in that fact, man.
Yeah.
We can talk to these professional.
That's 100% true. That's a big factor. I think this is funny, but TX, you better watch your mouth because Bailey travels. He'll come down here and smoke you. Right?
Yeah, I haven't fished frozen water once yet this year, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Florida, I promise. I have determined that I have gotten my ice fishing fix in my life, and it is now like if I go, it's once a year, and I'm usually not lifting a rod, I'm lifting a beer, and then that's it. That's all that happens. Ice fishing is not my thing. I'll go south.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I would not be able to deal with all that snow. No,
I haven't done
no
it. Still haven't done it.
I say you gotta try it once. Just try it once. It can be fun. The one time you go and you catch a lot of fish, it can be fun. But the other times you're just cold and just sitting there like, why did I come out here today?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of cold, so there's no way I'm doing it.
Yeah, go with friends. Obviously, way more fun with friends.
Yeah.
Just sitting on a bucket with a little rod, just about the size of this pencil, just going,
pretty much
little 2-inch fish.
I will say, like, if you're a hockey guy at all, if you can put on skates and ice fish with skates, that's way more fun because you can just run different holes and play a little pod hockey in the middle. Like it's
okay. See, there it is. That's fun.
There you go.
I guess there's a little fun to it.
Yeah, just remember where you drilled holes because you'll skate too.
That scares me too. I'm a big fella too, so being on the ice, I know it's good, but like I always got that like.
Yeah,
dude,
you're gonna go through.
Yeah. There's an adjustment like when you learn to ice fish because like the lake, regardless, even if it's perfectly safe, will make noises because the ice is either always building or like shifting in certain places. So it literally sounds like it's almost cracking under you, which like when it's super dead quiet, it is the sketchiest noise. But like that's why you got to go out with a buddy that's done it a lot before. Because like if they're not nervous, then you're good. Then you're like, all right. But if they perk up, you're like, okay, you probably got to go.
Yeah, I just don't know.
You park a boat. I parked a kayak on a stump.
I was gonna say.
I made myself a Hobie shish kebab before.
So you run a Hobie, right? Or to all the people who don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hobie Pro Angler 14.
What's your whole your setup on the kayak? Do you have the live scope deal that everybody else has?
I'm getting going in that area. I just got a wilderness attack. I don't got nothing like you, but
yeah, I got the Hobie Pro Angler 14. I got a Torpedo 403 AC on the back. I have a Humminbird Helix 9, Helix 10. One is for running strictly Mega Live or Mega 360 for that day. So I have the forward facing. I have 360. I don't bring them out at the same time, but I may or may not be trying to brainstorm ideas to do so. And then I paired up with TH Marine and Yak Gear for the year. So I have a TH Marine Hydrowave that I have up on the front that I played around with one time. I've only used it for 15 minutes, but it did catch a 5-pounder in that 15 minutes that I used it. But new little addition to the setup this year. I am definitely one of those gear nuts that people tease and make fun of about, but I own it. So it's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll take it. We're still catching fish.
So one of my questions for you now that it's a good segue. If you had to like recommend a budget sonar to somebody, what would you recommend? Like somebody like myself, like I'm getting into tournament fishing this year. I think I got like I forgot what it's called. I think it's the Piranha. Like it's like a $250 one right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So like
So
moving
have
up
you
from there,
gotten
what would you?
yeah, have you gotten into like using side imaging or anything like that
No,
before?
I've never used
Okay.
sonar at all.
Okay. So this is my biggest
Everything you're
recommendation
looking at.
is yeah, dude, like get good with your 2D, your down imaging and your side imaging, especially. Don't I see a bunch of people that see this forward facing sonar craze and they jump straight to live scope.
Yes,
That is
that's like
such a huge mistake because like you got to get good with the foundational stuff to in order to help understand when you do advance to that 360 to the forward facing sonar that what you're even looking at because there's a process of being able to go through and find fish with electronics that it's not just throw live scope on and I'm going to start catching fish now because it's not going to happen that way. I would say a great budget fish finder for you would be like a Helix 7 with mega side imaging on it because that's going to be able to give you all of the tech that you're going to be able to need, but it's also going to allow you to have all of the top-notch mapping capabilities too, because that's a big deal of being able to one look at like a Lake Master mapping chip, being able to see where those fish might be at, putting in process of like, hey, I'm going to go try out this area, and then being able to use your 2D, your side imaging to then be able to find fish. And the first time that it clicks where you see fish, you think you see fish on side imaging, you mark a waypoint, you work on like boat positioning, which I'll get to in a second. You fire off a cast and you catch one. Oh, dude, you're going to be addicted to it. But that's like the biggest thing too, man. Like boat positioning, like especially for people that like to fish offshore, but understanding how your boat on mapping positions to a waypoint is so crucial. And some people, even that have been fishing for a while, struggle with. That is such a crucial deal. Like being able to understand that before you can add a 360 or a live as an additional tool. I would say get into like a Helix 7, something that's not too big, it's affordable, but has all those top-notch sonar capabilities. That will be the best deal to get you on the right path if you want to advance further. Or you could be like John Cox that only gets that, goes back to only 2D and turns it off half like majority of the time and still smokes it.
Yeah.
He keeps the live scope in his back of his truck. That's what he did the whole season. I think it was 2020 or 2022. I mean,
that's crazy.
I think so.
It's crazy. He only keeps 2D for the water.
But he's been fishing it longer than we've all been alive.
Yes.
And I'm probably the oldest, and he's got me.
Hey, I mean, it's certain guys just good within their niche, good within their strengths. There's guys that have added certain texts to their deal to think it's another tool, but it makes them fish worse because they have a style that works for them and they're really good at it. And then once they take it off, they go back to doing their thing and they start catching them again. Where you got to find your groove. That's really all it is.
Yeah, definitely. Bait checking in here. What's up, man? Oh, there it goes. You guys go check out his channel. Super great channel for bait making. So yeah, Adam Odin here says the Garmin 7SVHUD. I've never done any electronics either, so I'm definitely new to the electronics thing. I need to pick one up, definitely. So I would probably pick up the Humminbird one that you recommended because I hear a lot of people saying the Humminbird is a good entry brand for beginners, for sure.
It's foolproof. I think Lowrance and Garmin make great options. I've used Lowrance before. I will say when you're going down the path of like forward-facing sonar, Lowrance and Garmin have great options for forward-facing, but from a specific mapping and your imaging, like Humminbird, no one touches their mega side imaging. It is as crystal clear as it gets, and no one touches Lake Master mapping. That is where I think you should start, at least from like getting top notch of the essentials. Humminbird and the Helix 7, I think, is only like $550.
Oh wow,
about $500 range
cheap
to get like mega side imaging and have Lake Master capabilities. I think that's the juice.
Yeah, what I really wanted in mind was down imaging. That's like the big thing for me because I fished like a lot of like pretty deep places. I mean, there's some pretty like deep places around here that I like to fish, and the fish really do position deep whenever they're in the summer a lot of the time. So I like to throw like big glide baits, like depth 250s or a 9-inch Buka or something like that, or a Balam, over those places to draw those fish up if there is even fish there. Because I don't know what's down there. I don't know how deep it is sometimes unless I drop a jig down there or something like that. So I think something like electronics would help a lot for sure.
The OG fish finder, a 1 ounce football jig.
Exactly.
But dude, no, that's a great point. I mean, there's so many different methods to sonar of like 2D is great for, in my personal opinion, 2D is great for when you're fishing on top of fish, understanding when things are below you, especially from a smallmouth standpoint. Like you see those marks coming in, you get comfortable with it, and you're able to drop on those fish. You watch your drop shot or your Damiki go down, see them rise up or fall down to your bait. DI for me is one that I love, especially for deep grass or fishing ledges or graphing ledges, because that's a great one to show me fish when from a graphing standpoint. When I'm going 3-4 miles per hour, DI is able to show me that. Side imaging is great for just about freaking everything. I always have side imaging running because I call it a poor man's 360, where there's times where I can see fish directly to my 90 degree on side imaging and I can make a cast over and I can catch them. Where it's great for when you're trying to find holes in the grass, when you're trying to find grass points, find all that offshore stuff, like being able to go and see a shell bar that's like a 20 foot by 20 foot shell bar that's 70 feet to your left. It's such a great tool, especially for people that like to fish offshore or fish grass. So they all have their kind of their niche.
Nice.
I could go down a whole rabbit hole on technology
down here too.
Kind of geek out.
That interests me so much. It's like interesting, very interesting stuff.
So I think we had a question from Matt that was really good.
Yep.
For you, Bailey.
Oh, there you go.
Let me click there. There it is.
Oh man.
So
toughest thing for fishing kayak tournaments. Has big baits ever come into play? I can say I've never caught a fish on a glide in a tournament. I've caught a handful of fish on 80-inch mag drafts, but I don't know if that really qualifies as big baits. But toughest thing for me in tournaments is decision making, because I fished my fair share of boat tournaments and I fished a lot of kayak tournaments, and that your process, and I'm still dialing it to this day. So like, and obviously I'm not perfect whatsoever. I'm way still on the low side of the totem pole on the learning curve. But the biggest thing is decision making in regards to where you start out that day, where you go, learning to not spread yourself too thin, because obviously with a kayak, when you think about it, a mile is about 15 minutes if you can hold like a 4 mile an hour pace. So it's like you got to be there's a higher emphasis on where you're going to fish and how you're going to fish that day. Whereas like a boat, you can go trial a couple things and you can go run 10 miles and be there in 10 minutes. And you can be trying something completely different. So there might be days where it's like, hey, I found something really good in practice doing this one deal, but it's 4 miles from a ramp. And I have to basically understand that I'm wasting half my day if I go do this deal. Because if I'm going to go take an hour to get there, I'm going to spend a couple hours trying to figure it out. Worst case scenario, I'm going to take another hour to either come back and leave or take the time to go somewhere else. So it's the biggest thing. It really, and there's people that are so good at it right now. When it comes to this decision making, like what comes to mind is like Guillermo Gonzalez is a great one. Drew Gregory is a really good one when it comes to being able to clock his day in regards to, hey, I have, because he's a backwoods creek fisherman. He goes, I can be able to run 3 creeks in a day. Here's how far they are apart from a driving distance. It takes me 22 minutes. He'll like clock the amount of time it'll take like his gear to get his gear ready or to drop in, throw it in the back of the truck, leave. Like it's down to like a science. It's a calculated science. I think it's the biggest thing that I still monkey with is like my milk runs, like, because I'm an offshore guy. If I have 3 different spots, which one am I going to hit throughout the day? Which one am I going to hit quick and then spend more time on the other? Which one do I want to end on? Because as a tournament fisherman, you always want to finish your day on your best stuff, unless you're like fishing new for the next day type of deal. But you got to always count that, like, hey, how much time is it going to take me to get there? How much time do I want to spend on at the end of the day? And be able to factor that time management. Like it's I think that is the most difficult part. Time management from a kayak tournament angler standpoint is extremely difficult.
Yeah, I bet, because you can't move very fast.
Yeah,
you're not going anywhere very far. I did put 4 trolling motors on a 10-foot John boat one time, and I was actually able to get up pretty fast. Surprisingly,
4 trolling motors.
Yeah, but you can't fit 4 trolling motors on a kayak though. So
hey, Hey,
you
I
can't
was
go anywhere
talking
too
with the Merc
fast.
guy at Redcrest last week about that new electric Merc. I might
Those
try
look
it.
cool.
I might try it.
That's a
I'll
pretty
probably
cool motor.
tip the kayak, but we're going to try. We might try
Put,
it.
put the batteries up front.
Mercury.
Yeah, they came out with a new line of Mercury motors that is straight up electric. There's like, I think it's like a 3, like I'm totally probably butchering it, but I think it's like a 3 or 4 horse and like a 9 horse something.
Yep.
It's like super small,
They're
like
cool.
stuff that you can literally pick it up by hand and put it on the transom. Like,
Yeah, I saw the dude. He was picking it up. He was just like,
How fast would that have you going on a yak?
Guess we're gonna have to find out, huh? I don't know. Probably. I mean, I don't know. Close to 10.
Table.
I'm putting her on plane, buddy. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's moving.
You're
I mean, I don't
need,
even
a
know if
whole,
it's against the
transom
rules.
on the
That's
back.
Yeah, you got to have like a whole plate and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna need some like weight in that thing to like. You might just sit forward.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
be like
gonna
sitting
tip right
forward
up.
in the yak.
You're just chilling in the back.
Crazy.
You're holding the tiller, like you're just kind of distributing the weight. Yeah,
Right?
You got all your tackle up front in that one little
That's
compartment. Man,
Yep.
that would be crazy to see that. Just some guy going just flying across the lake.
I got to try it like at least once.
I agree with that, TX. I mean, but at the same time, it's just like that's just the wave of like.
Mm-hmm. It's a
That's
tool.
anything, you know what I mean? Like there's guys like I compare everything to basketball. I played basketball, but like that's like saying like, oh, this guy wouldn't be in the league if he couldn't shoot. You know, if they didn't call so many fouls for him. Like,
yeah, I mean, to
right
that
now.
point, yeah, man. To that point though, like the guys that are so good at video game fishing, like if you look at them, like the Jacob Wheelers, the Dustin Connells, the Brandon Polinick. Now, like there's so many you could rattle off that are so good. Tyler Yvette, we just had, who's our show for Friday, who just won on Okeechobee of all places with forward facing sonar. When he's a Louisiana boy that punches, these guys were good before the forward facing sonar. When you see it, if they ever took it away, you would still see the top guys. At the top. There might be a little bit of a shift, but you'll still see the same names up there. It's just an additional tool. It's something completely different that helps us learn more about bass than we had originally realized. Like the guys that are that good with the forward-facing sonar, they have to be. That's all it is a tool that's showing them what's in front of them. They're still in the areas. They're still finding where those fish are at. Where there's guys that have it who are still lost as a dog that have no idea how to catch these fish. Like it's buying forward-facing sonar doesn't automatically catch you fish. You know what I mean?
And that's what a lot of people think. They're like, oh, you can see. Oh, you can see. But so my biggest thing is like, and I guess you could explain this a little bit better. Like, what do you do when you see all the fish and then you still can't catch them? What would piss you off more? Just going out and throwing randomly like I do? And I'm just like, man, well, I just suck today. Or you go out and you see all the fish and you just like, okay, now I really suck because I just did everything and I could see them and they still don't bite. Like I feel like a lot of people forget that aspect. Like, what do you do when that happens? You know, like you see them, they don't bite. You throw the whole tackle box and they still don't bite. And then now what?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a humbling technology, but it's cool in the sense that when you get good with it, you can tell species apart. Like you can tell. I mean, I think the hardest ones are big bass and carp are the hardest to tell apart because they're kind of in a sense where carp, though, the only identifier from big bass is their tail is much more erratic, whereas big bass are super lazy. They'll have a very slow tail kick. But like you'll all start to understand what different species look like on forward-facing sonar. And you'll be able to be like, you'll pan over and you'll see a giant schoolie, like those are all white bass. Those are all crappie. Those are all perch. Like you can see how they set up.
Crazy.
And then understand like when you know it's bass though, like so a lot of times they'll follow your bait and they'll never eat. And it's usually a quick. It's usually like I'm throwing either a jerk bait or a swim bait. I'll change colors or I'll change weight or I'll change completely different brand jerk bait that gives them something a little bit different. I'll change up my cadence. So maybe I'm doing a 1-2 and a 1-2 and I'll give it a pop. I'll go up, change the angle on them to try and change it where it's, if that's not working and I'm throwing the kitchen sink at them, I'm giving them the bird and I'm going to go up and do something completely different.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is there's guys that get so locked into it that they burn themselves. They spend too much time. It's like bed fishing. where it's
Yeah.
like you can see a giant on a bed. She's never going to eat, but you're going to waste 3 hours thinking she's going to eat. You know what I mean? Where it's like you need to just go move on and find something completely different. Where that's the
And that
same
circles
deal.
back to that
The forward-facing
decision-making
sonar,
you're
yeah,
talking about.
exactly.
And
Yep.
some guys,
And that's what
they spend 7 hours on a bed and catch the fish at the end. Like
Yeah.
Matt Allen, he caught his, what was it, 17? He spent 8 hours on the bed working this fish with a
To
Huddleston.
be fair, if I
and
saw an
caught it.
18 on a bed, I'd probably spend 8 hours too.
Yeah, I chill.
And,
Yeah. Nobody else is getting a shot at this.
Yeah. But from a tournament standpoint, dude, it's like again, it's time management, dude. I made a big mistake with that on my first event this year down in the Harris chain. I finally got a limit, and I found an 8-pounder on a bed, and I wasted 2 hours, and I never caught her. Which that could have been 2 hours. I could have done something else different, called up. Where it's like, again, that's what it comes back to, especially from a tournament standpoint. Like if I was fun fishing, I probably would have stayed on the 8-pounder the rest of the dang day until I caught the thing. But it's what it all factors down to. It's like time management. Where where are your bite windows? How are you gonna set up on those bite windows? Where it's again like all the fancy tech is cool and it's shiny, but it's all it is an additional tool to your original set of instincts as an angler. But like the guys that aren't too prevalent of names that do well with forward-facing sonar only do well a couple times and then they drop back off. The guys that are consistently good at it are still the guys that are good fishermen without it.
Yeah, they know how to fish, and they know how to fish with it, and they know how to fish without it. It's just they're good fishermen.
They know when to ditch
We have
it.
a question here. Yeah, exactly. We have a question here from Bait Chuckin. How was flipping and punching on a kayak? I can barely do it on a boat. I can't imagine a kayak.
Man, I guess it's for me. It's there really isn't. Obviously, it's easier on a boat because you have the standing platform. But I still flip sitting down and punch with a 7-Eleven extra heavy sitting down. So it's really when you get to the punching side, like when you need the heavier weight, use the weight as a pendulum. Let the bait do all the work. You literally don't have to do much besides a little flick of the wrist. Let that heavy weight do its deal. But like when I'm trying to fish like specific flip, like trees, cypress, like holes in the grass, you got to be able to stand up for that stuff. You can do it sitting down, you're just not as effective. But being able to stand up is a big deal.
Yeah,
I think I can stand up in my kayak. I don't have the confidence to do it just yet.
What do you have for a kayak?
Like 8 feet tall.
Wilderness Attack 120, I think it is.
Oh, dude, you'll be good. You'll be good.
Yeah, I know that's what everyone. That's that the guy who sold it to me said the same thing. That I'm 6'5", 245.
You just gotta get comfortable with it, man. Like have you been on it yet?
Yeah. I've been on it. I caught a fish on it. I set the hook on it good. My dad was like, before you go do anything, get in the shallows and try to tip it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I went to 2 feet of water and was rocking it. I stood up and I was like, all right, I'm good. This thing's damn sturdy. Holy crap. I didn't believe it. I was the first time me getting in a fishing kayak. I got it from the guy and me and my boy went straight to the lake and I actually caught a 5-pounder on a frog.
Oh,
and
hell
I was like, this is nuts. Because I was sitting how I'm sitting now and I'm like, wow, this is okay. All right. And that's what kind of real, I was already down the rabbit hole, but that's what really was okay.
Just set you off.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Now I want a
Hobie. Yeah. We have a question here from Mr. Basson with Big Malone.
Oh man. I don't know.
That's a good one, Malone.
This one changes you asked me in an hour and it'll probably change.
So go top 3 then.
Top 3?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll say my number 1 just for the pure fact that most of my money I won on tournament wise last year was on this bait. It was a spinner bait. Tried and true, classic, catches them absolutely everywhere.
I love that.
Get up on shade lines or any sort of cover with a spinner bait, especially if there's a big bait presence in the lake. I'd say a spinner bait's a great one. I'm going to say a 3/8 ounce finesse tungsten flipping jig. Just a super small crawl profile. That's a great one in my mind to always get bit on, shallow or deep. You can drag that thing or you can flip it docks. You can flip grass with it. You can flip whatever. You can submerge timber, whatever it may be. But lastly, the one I have absolutely freaking everywhere and everyone always talks about it, but a drop shot from a 6-inch robo worm. Aaron's Magic, that
Mhm.
type of deal, like Morning Dawn.
Speaking of Robo Worms,
Always got it. Yeah.
Steve here had a little joke about Robo Worms, but
Timing.
yeah, go ahead there. Sorry.
Oh no, that's I always have drop shot tied on, whether it's smallmouth, largemouth.
I've never fished a drop shot.
Oh, come on,
Plan
man.
I plan to. So you know what it is? I need to like sit down and get a lesson on how to tie the knot. I just like I get. Isn't it just an elongated Palmore knot?
You know what is a really easy way I found to rig it up? It's not the best of it, but I've never had an issue with it. Is so like when you're either using like say like an owner cover shot, like say if you're using it weedless with like a robo worm or even like a nose hook, say you'll put like a little drop shot like a flatworm on it. Is what I do is I slide it up with obviously with the hook point facing up, and what I do is I make a loop around the hook. And all I do is I have that hook in the middle of the loop, and I just twist the hook in the loop, and then just cinch down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find the YouTube file and I'll send it over to you. It's super easy.
Okay.
It takes seconds to do. Yeah.
Seems pretty easy.
I never tried it, but I
Probably
obviously see the power in it.
Yeah.
I obviously see the power in it, but I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we have a question here also
setups
from Michael Bradley.
Yeah, that's my favorite question right there. Because I'm that guy. So when I bank fish, I'm like 6 combos, 5 combos. I'm walking past people on the trail and they're like, what is this guy doing?
I am that kind of guy, man, that brings way too much stuff every single time. As much as I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to the lake and throw a spinnerbait and that's it. And I get there and I look around, I'm like, man, the grass looks good. I might bring a punch rod, but then they might eat a frog. So I'll put a frog in there. They might eat a chatterbait in the grass line. So I'll throw that in there. And then I could probably throw a drop shot along the grass line. So then it turns into 12, 13 rods. But I try to keep it around, and even this is a lot, but I keep it around 10 to 12. But if you, there was a time, the Bass Kayak Championship on Possum Kingdom a couple of years back in Texas, where conditions completely changed. On the last day of practice, I had 23 rods with me at one time. So I'm not afraid to bring out a lot, but it's nice thing about
on the kayak. You're 23 on the kayak.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Oh,
how do you fit? There's not that many rod holders, and your black pack only has what, 6?
Well, I rigged my Hobie H crate out to hold 12. And then with the PA, you have 3 horizontal rod slots that you can fit. I've been able to fit 3 of them on each of them, so you can load up. I purposely try to put as many. I've confirmed I can fit 33 rods in it in my kayak if I wanted to. I would never do that. Good grief, no. And I would never fish a tournament with that many. I would never fish a tournament. At most in a tournament, I would take probably 12 to 14.
See, but I kind of understand that because at the same time, it's time management more or less than it is anything else. Because like if you bring 5 rods with you and you have to take a collective hour of changing lures and changing baits, then you lose an hour of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those deals where I completely overthink everything as it is, and it's like, what if I get there and like, because dude, there's times where it's like I'm only gonna be throwing 3-4 different setups, but it's like I want this rod for if I pass this deal on my way to my next spot, I just want 5 casts with this setup.
Yep.
And it just lures me into bringing an extra 10 rods that I'm only going to take a couple casts with if I even touch them that day. It's not a great solution. I'm by no means am I telling people it's a good idea, because if I see a guy that's only going out with 2 rods, I'm screwed. He's going to catch them.
That's what I bring most of the time: 2 swim bait rods, soft bait rod, and treble hook rod. Sometimes I'll throw like a pitching rod, and that's it. Or
a lot of people in the comments. It's hard for me, Dave Jolly.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So we have a question here from Steve from Get Your Fish On. I did not know that. I don't keep up with the tournament as much as I probably should.
This is a tough deal.
Do you have the information?
Yeah, I don't want to go into exactly what happened because it's honestly a pretty sensitive deal, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want your brands or my brand to get involved in that whole debacle. But essentially, there's this whole situation with essentially his name's Tucker Smith. Good kid. Always been great to me. He got DQ'd from his day 2, got DQ'd from the Open on Lake Eufaula for essentially what looked like somebody might have been hole spotting or hole sitting for him. Essentially, essentially holding a spot for him so that one comes up on it. Essentially,
Okay.
again, I wasn't there. I don't know how it all went down, but essentially his appeal
Yeah.
got denied, and he had his day 2 DQ'd. So tough deal on both
That
ends.
sucks for anything.
Yeah.
You know, if you're ever in a
For
tournament
sure.
and you get it, something just disqualified. But
I think Ben is going to do amazing.
yeah,
Opens.
Yeah, dude.
I
He
mean,
already got a
he
4th place
fifth.
finish.
I mean,
and you know what I
thought it
love
was-
about Ben the most,
yeah.
too, is he's like,
Yeah.
so Ben was like, I think, other than like a like a big name like a Debo or a Tackle Junkie or something like that, Ben was like one of the first people I saw, like, just like, for me anyway, just open up about everything. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm fishing on. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, it's all 6 cents. No problem for me. I love it. But, you know, he's one of the few people that, and the reason I started watching him in the first place, because I hate the good old boys club. I hate it. I hate it. Like, even with my job, like, I'm just the type of person that just like, if you want to learn something from me and I got that bit of knowledge, that's the gift of life, is to pass that on, and somebody else can take that and pass it on. And, you know, a piece of you travels kind of forever, getting into some philosophical stuff. But, you know, that's the joy in life for me. So I just hate, I'm not going to say hate, it's a strong word. I'm not a fan of when people are just so like withholdy with information. Like, well, once again, we're fishing, we're just trying to have some fun, and, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
no,
why
I completely agree with
Right.
that. I love the idea of passing on the knowledge of like catching them and stuff. I will say though, like, if I spent 20 plus hours graphing a lake and found specific like stuff that I waypointed,
That's something
I
different.
ain't giving that stuff up.
That's something different.
Yeah,
It's something
but
different.
like,
I get that.
but like even the nuances that's like super cool of like understanding bass behavior or something that's going to help somebody catch more, that's going to get them more obsessed with the sport. I'm all game for sharing that stuff, man.
And I'm more along the lines when, like, you know how you go by that guy and you're like, hey, how you doing? You catching them? Yeah, I'm killing them. What are you catching them on? And he just looks at you like,
a hook.
I'm not fishing it like you said. If you found him and you're sitting on him and I come pull up next to you and I'm hornswoggling and I'm casting right next to you, that's something completely different. But if you say, oh yeah, I'm catching him on a white chatterbait, and I go down to the other end of the lake and I start catching him on a white chatterbait, like, what does that hurt you at all if you're fishing your spot?
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah. I think as far as
I like to think that what comes around goes around. You know what I mean?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Or I think it's the other way around. What goes around comes. You guys get the point.
It could be either one.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Someone
Karma
would correct
comes
us in
full
chat.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think that like some things, like some of the bait making stuff, like I'm not going to share that with everybody because it took me a long time. It took me lots of money to figure out, like my clear coat, something like that, like how I do my pins and my baits, or what I use for my pins and my baits, or something like that, or my prep work or something like that. Like those are things that took me a lot of money, a lot of time to figure out. I'm not just going to go hand that out to the world. Like those are things that I make my money off of.
Yeah,
So
I was
I'm
going to say
not
it's a little
gonna,
different for you too. That's your company, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Craft.
It's a little different there, but I definitely agree that a little more information should be shared or shown. That should be shared. So how do you cast with that many rods? That would be kind of hard, I bet.
Yeah. I have a system dialed now. Like obviously with Hobie, it's cool because you have the horizontal rod storage, so I can lay them down. Like there's days like if I'm only bringing a couple rods up to even like say 10, I can leave them all horizontal. That way I have nothing behind me. So like you're good to like move all around, which is nice because especially when you're going flipping, like you can go 360 all around your kayak and fish behind you, fish wherever you want. But like if I do have like there's days sometimes where like especially in a tournament, I don't want all that clutter up at my feet, especially when I'm trying to put a board down and measure fish. Where it's like I'll have a couple fish say on the right side, or a couple fish, hopefully a couple fish, a couple rods on the right side of my Hobie in regards to the horizontal storage. That way I can have room for my board and my net on the left side where I put my board in the net. That way, like if fish jump out, they go into the net. I have that on my left side. And then on my back left, I'll have my H crate behind me, and I'll only stack rods to my left side. So that way, because I cast and I roll cast to my right, nothing is behind there. I keep that completely free. That way I'm
Okay.
good. Like when I
You
cast.
fish lefty or righty?
So I reel right-handed, but I cast everything right-handed, spinning and casting.
There you
Like
go.
I can cast with my
That's
left
the
hand. if I
right
want to.
way to
I'm
do
just
it.
so.
Uh,
Yeah, that is the
alright.
right way. Anybody that goes and reels with the right and then reels spinning with the left hand, sorry, you're the wrong way.
I do everything lefty. So just for the record, I do
I can get behind that. You do everything lefty.
everything lefty.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
It's because I cast with my right hand, and I will never put it on video. Me trying to set a hook left-handed, I look like
You've done the same way.
I can't do that.
So
Or
do
like
you
any
cast with
type
your
of-
right arm and reel
Yeah.
with your left?
Yep, I cast
Okay,
with
so
my
you're
right
more
arm,
pure than I am.
and as soon as the
because
bait hits
I
the
have-
water, yeah, no, as soon as because that's what my dad taught me. As soon as the bait hits the water, engage it. Like you
Yeah.
need to be able to do that at times. Like he's like when you're casting up under a tree, as soon as that spinner bait hits the top, hits that water, it's moving. He's like, he used to tell me I'm technically kind of moving it before it hits the water. And that's how my dad taught me how to cast. Roll cast, and then just like boom, it hits the water and you're already bringing it. He's like, because they're gonna jump, they might jump on it and hit it as soon as it hits the water if you get the action going. But
Mhm.
Yep.
no, that's how you taught
Yeah,
me.
it's the
switch.
people that reel one way casting and then another spinning. It's like, how? Like I don't
So the
understand
switch,
that, dude.
the switch, it's cringy to me.
It messes
So,
with your brain.
There's
So
only
weird.
a few people, and I'll call them out. Larry Melton Jr. He casts with his left hand though, so he does what I do, just backwards. He casts with his left hand and then just starts reeling. That I can get behind. I hate the right pass over and sorry.
Oh, dude, that's me. That's me.
It's just like
I cast, and I switch it over to my left hand. And I start reeling.
Like, why? It just blows
I don't know,
my mind.
man.
But
I was
get
always
it.
a righty in
Right.
hockey and lacrosse, so it's just fluent.
I talk my smack, but obviously you definitely will smoke me at fishing. So
I can set the hook with my left. If I try to set the hook with my right, it's okay. But me trying to reel with my left hand, it's just like this weird, awkward, like
So that's how I
it's more
feel
I'm
right-handed.
reeling with my arm than I am my hand.
That's
you know
how
what
I
I mean? It's
feel
weird.
right-handed. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Whenever the handle's on the left side of the reel, that means it's the wrong side. When it's on the right side, it's the right side. Just saying. They made a mistake in
I
manufacturing.
hear that.
They made a mistake. Oh gosh, that's funny.
Somebody got fired that day.
There he is. There's one of your Dave Jolly's, one of your guys. I don't get it.
Ah, Dave, I don't
See,
know how
I
you
don't
do
throw
that, man.
spinning, so I'm safe.
I don't get that. I don't understand.
But like when I use spinning for spinning for redfish, I switch the handle to the right side. So it's just
Yeah.
they're both right, so I can cast just fine. But I switch hands like during the casts. Like my reel and rod is already in my hand. It's before the bait hits the water. Unless I'm flipping or pitching, then it's a little different. So
Hear that?
Scott.
yeah.
About a mixed bag in the
That is
chat.
very weird. What in the world? Are the catfish rods spinning?
What?
It's rather
Wait,
strange.
what?
Puzzled.
So he
both
fishes
fish,
for
you both
bass
cast.
with his right, and then Cat fishes for I think he fishes for bass with his right hand, righty, and then when he fishes for catfish, he's lefty.
Huh.
Which it's species specific, as opposed to bait caster spinner. Okay, I never heard that one, Malone. That's different.
Intriguing.
So I know I'm pretty sure anyone here that does like fishing for a long time or has a boat or has a kayak or has some sort of water vessel, they get in some sketchy stuff with the boat ramps. Have you ever had any sketchy encounters or anything interesting happen at the boat ramp?
Yeah, I remember
I'm trying to
Rudd
think.
damn near had the pew pews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that was-
interesting. I don't,
He had a guy. Yeah.
no disrespect or nothing crazy. I don't blame him, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
that was a wild one.
Definitely. Yeah.
It is I can't I'm trying to think if I ever had anything bad at a boat ramp. I've had some weird
I
stuff
had anything
gator
like crazy happen on
kayak.
the water.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I mean like gator. I saw your clip is like blowing up about the gator just running into the water and stuff.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah,
one
We
that
have
I
some
had like
gators
in
in here.
Florida. They just wouldn't leave me alone, but I never really had any bad. And the amount of boat ramps that I've just slept in my truck at, I haven't had, thankfully to this day, knock on wood, and haven't had anything bad happen.
Well, that's good for sure then. I mean, the gators are not like a huge problem here. I mean, they follow you around. And now there are places where the people feed them the fish. That becomes a
Mm.
big problem because they
Yeah.
just follow you around. They
Yeah,
won't
it's
like
like
get
herons.
on the boat or anything, but they're gonna mess with you.
No,
Yeah.
look at that. See, speaking of herons, I almost that sucks, Adam. Don't do that.
Ooh.
I mean, I have pulled up to see trucks like in the water in the ramp.
Michael Bradley. Jesus. So, Bailey, if you don't know, I actually got attacked by a blue heron in one of my videos. So I think
Man,
twice. So I think somebody, like Brendan just said, I think someone caught like some bluegills or like a small bass and just let this bird eat it. Because like if you watch my video, he pulls right up. Like, and then so I'm editing the video and I watch back and I'm like, yo, he flew over and started watching me fish. Waited for me to catch a fish, and then I pulled the fish up on the bank. The moment I saw you see the fish come out of the water, he came over and stood right in front of me and tried to eat the fish. And I'm like, yo, but he was like a 3-pounder. I don't think. I mean, he probably could have went to town, but I swing him back in the water, like brought my line over the bird and went down the bank like 30 yards, and he kind of left me alone a little bit. But
oh man,
and then it
Yeah,
happened again at a different lake. It's crazy.
They're
those
following
suckers
you.
are
That's
no
why-
joke, man.
Yeah, real.
They're annoying because like they'll be hiding in the pine trees and whatnot, and you're just fishing, you're just flipping the bank or something, and this thing just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like screaming at you, just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
Crazy.
what was that?
Pterodactyl coming out of the bank.
I know.
and it's going.
Nuts.
Exactly.
Favorite
interesting one.
fishing snack. You swing that
Oh, dude.
around.
That big those the P3s, you know what I'm talking about? Like the little protein
don't.
packs that's got like the almonds and then cheese and then like a turkey. Yeah,
No.
Mm.
Never heard of that.
No.
Sounds interesting.
They're little protein packs at the gas station you can get. It's like
Oh.
it's almost like what's like the kid
Lunchables?
deals that you could have? What is
They're
it?
adult Lunchables.
Basically, yeah, they're basically like
Wow.
a Lunchable, like a healthy Lunchable.
All right.
That's interesting.
I like
Okay.
that. What about you, Brendan?
Yeah. Beef jerky or beef sticks, really. And those are like, it's just like, it doesn't really go bad. It's just
Yeah.
tastes good, gives you protein and water.
I'm a big. It might not be the best, especially in the summertime. I'm a huge sunflower seeds guy because I can just
We
do
know from your
that.
videos.
Yeah. Sorry. Honestly, like I thought about it, and I was just like, I'm not gonna stop eating sunflower seeds. So if you watch my videos, you'll hear it. And then like sometimes I'll spit it, and it'll literally hit my GoPro, and I'll be like, oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
Can't knock a good sunflower seed.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm not that young.
How
You
old
can't
are you?
drink
Great.
yet.
No, I can't.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 18.
I thought you were like 23, 24.
No, I don't know. It's just how I look.
I'm Gramps here.
Yeah.
Bailey, how old are you?
25.
Oh my goodness.
How old are you?
I just turned 33.
96.
I just turned
You
33.
ain't, not, you ain't
That's not
old.
bad. Nah, I'm not.
You're just established. That's all you are.
Yeah. I don't know about that. But yeah, thanks. I'll take that.
You're 18 with a few years of experience. That's all.
That's it. That's it. Malone. That may look, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
I have socks older than Brandon. That's good.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Man. It's great.
Fishing
So,
fix. We got plenty of juice left in the tank, brother.
yeah. Okay, Frank. Yes, Frank had a full-blown mustache.
Oh
like
my
it was
goodness.
like big. Like, I mean, just like it looked like he was 30 or something. I mean, he
Yeah,
was
Frank
like,
looked like a 40-year-old Italian Guido when he was
Oh
when he
my
was
God.
14.
he was able to get beer
Yeah,
at the bar at 13.
That's
crazy.
Oh, yeah. So, do you have any kayak tournaments coming up that you're going to be fishing and filming and anything?
Yeah. I have actually starting my drive here soon. I haven't figured out if I'm leaving this weekend or probably like next Tuesday, but Bassmaster Classics next week. So I'm gonna go hang out, work the classic, and then literally Sunday night after the classic's done, load up and head down to Santee Cooper for the next Hobie BOS event down in South Carolina. And I'll be
Sweet.
staying there for a week, camping it up, and then filming the classic, filming the travel down to Santee, and then fishing the next tournament there down on Santee Cooper, which is a big fish mecca. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been there once.
Okay.
I've been there once for 2 hours. A few weeks back, actually, on my way home from Florida, I had a tournament down the Harris Chain. Stopped there for 2 hours, and I had 25 pounds in 2 hours. So I was like a little excited to go back there.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
prime time there at Santee. So got that one coming up, and then by the time that event happens and I get home, it's prime time up here in New York for our spring fishing, and then our local circuit will start kicking up again. So pretty much like starting next week, man. It's like full steam ahead for basically till November.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Are you
When
into
does,
iCast?
Yes,
Oh,
I'll be at
sorry.
iCast as well.
Okay, I'll see you there then. Make sure
Nice.
to
Yeah, dude.
get you a bait or two.
When does,
I'd say about your beer, but I guess you're not 21. Just learn.
Yeah, right.
I'll pass on that at the moment. You know what? You can buy me a few of these, and I'll call it even there.
I don't know, man. That's like 4 years worth of beer behind you sitting there.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
When does your fishing season start in New York? For those who don't know, which is always interesting.
You can get on some good smallmouth deals right now. Right now, I just don't have any time to commit to it because you do got to go find them. But beyond that, I mean, April's when it's really good up here, like, and because it's that mix of when it's still really cold, so there's not a lot of people going out fishing. But like, man, they're chewing, and all of them are fat as a blimp. So it's like kind of like your time to go catch a PB is like this time of year or like that late November-ish. April's really good here. May is good because you got a bunch of pre-spawners still. Late May is like kind of your spawn starts your first wave, especially if it's a little bit warmer of a spring. Your first full moon you'll get like end of May is full-blown spawn. You'll have like a mix. And then like early June is like you'll have pre-spawn, spawners, and post-spawners. And that's my favorite time. June is my favorite month to fish here because you got to mix a bunch. And when they're post-spawn, dude, they're all offshore where I like to catch them. And they're all coming right off the bed, so they're hungry and dumb. So it makes for a lot of fun.
I've heard spawning smallmouth are just like they just like hit anything. That's what I've heard.
Dumber than me in high school, man. Yeah, they're really not smart.
Man, that's awesome. I really want to get on some then. Definitely.
You come up. We'll get you out.
I'd love to. Hopefully, I can get some on a big bait. Though.
Yeah, Brendan, come up.
Really
you swing. You drive to my house, and then I'll drive us all over. Actually, honestly, it's probably no. I would say it's almost the same time that it would. Nah, I don't think so. It's probably longer.
We need to all meet in like Virginia. That's a pretty centralized location for everybody. That's in our like little group chat kind of deal. We need to all like meet in Virginia, like for the Swim Bait Universe gathering. That way we get to fish a tournament. I get to buy big baits, and we all get fish in prime time. We actually have a YouTube tournament going right now, or well, it's going to be coming.
Yeah, I tagged you in that, Bailey.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you want to enter into it. It's
I probably should have tagged you in it.
Tiny.
Is it like a fish anywhere type of deal? It's a month.
Yeah,
right?
anywhere.
No
Anywhere.
private,
So it's just like a.
You can join it and just go. That's why I shouldn't have tagged you. Is when you're down south, you can just do what you do and just post the fish.
Yeah, I feel like definitely. Though. I feel like and I guess Santee would be good for it, but it's more the fish up here in New York because they're just so stupid this time of year. Like when I'll be back in the month, because it's the month of April, right?
Yeah, it's the month of April.
Full month. Yep.
Oh man, I might have to join that just for fun. I swear I'd never do month longs again, but maybe I'll join just for fun.
It's fun.
That'd be awesome, man. But
Hella
Hey.
Bass is in here. We should get Hella in here too. Hella in there too. I don't know.
Oh,
He
yeah.
might not be able to fish at all yet, though. He's
Yeah,
up in
you're in
Wisconsin, right?
no, in
Yeah,
Minnesota.
he's
Minnesota. That's
Yeah.
right. Minnesota. Excuse me. Yeah, Minnesota. But still, either way, it's brick. Either way,
Yeah.
it's oh. They probably still got ice. Which is nuts.
Yeah, I think they have ice for the most part still. It's probably not. I feel like they're on their downslope now. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, I think last year at this point in time, we might have maybe certain
There's
places.
guys catching them right now on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. It's interesting. Well, I mean, it never
So
freezes over.
there's a good question, Bailey. So, what do you do in our area right when the ice goes out?
Go fishing.
How? What do you catch them on?
Blade bait, Ned rig. I guess it depends. If it's smallmouth, I usually go smallmouth right at ice out because it's like that 34, 35 water temp. So it's typically blade bait, spoon, jig and wrap, Ned rig, creeping a football jig, like taking 10 minutes for one cast with a football jig. It's slow typically. But once you get around that 38 to 40, you can start speeding some things up, and especially start getting up for largemouth when you start seeing closer to 40. You can catch them like ice out largemouth wise. It's just more fun for me and my fish to go after the brown ones because they'll chew. Whereas like the largemouth for us, anyways, you'll catch a couple. It just for a little smallmouth, you can have 30, 40 fish days when it's that cold.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. Wow.
But like
You
it's
know,
that time of year where like
cold.
you find them, you're on them for the rest of the day because they're all schooled up.
Yeah. I mean, like here, like you can, there's certain places that you can fish a frog all year long. Like it's just like, you never get like crazy cold, like too cold to fish, you know? So Hellbass will see you in Knoxville then. Yes, Matt, we do need you. Matt, you need to start one with, shoot, who's the guy that owns Swim Bait Universe or one of the, how am I forgetting his name? I don't know. You need to get with him. That'd be pretty cool because he's up there. Yes, we do not take ultralight in the stream. Only big baits and conventional stuff. Adamo, don't talk about ultralight.
I don't do ultralight. I'll use this spinning reel, but no ultralight.
Dang, you guys need to
put
your state in the microwave for a little bit.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I think after 12 inches you can drive on it, right?
I think I wouldn't quote me.
Yeah, I'm pretty
proficient.
If I'm not mistaken,
you can.
I think 12 inches is like AVs and small cars. And then once you get to like 14 plus is like you can live on it, like anything. But I don't know. I don't know if that's exact. I think I remember seeing like the little picture thing, but yeah, I just read that too. I might go tomorrow. So it's supposed to be 50. It was like last night it was 20. So last night it was 26 with wind gust. It made it feel like 20. And then it was kind of like that all day today. And then tomorrow it's going to warm up to 51 degrees and be sunny out.
Oh, it's summer.
Like, yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, should I go fishing or is it going to be terrible because the night before was Arctic tundra. So, but that's just good old Northeast. So
here we have a big cold front moving in, and it's just like they're just messing up the whole spawn right now. Because we would have spawning bass right now, but the bass are just so confused and they don't know what the heck is going on right now. Do you ever tried like Huddleston at that time of year? Like you never like slow rolled a Huddleston, done like a crazy slow like reel in, just like the jig pretty much.
When I get home early April here, that's the time of year I usually throw it.
Okay. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Wayne Campbell. Yes, that's who it was. Nice. Good luck, Matt and Mr. DT.
DT, what's up, baby?
Now we gotta,
DT's one of the OGs.
He is. We call him DT now, because he was
that's a great nickname too. DT's in the building.
Oh, he's the owner of the DT. He came up with the DT. Apparently, they named it after him.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
He's getting
All
a
right,
lot
yeah,
of royalties.
Finding the D. Yeah, he's getting $1 per bait. He's a millionaire right now.
right.
I bet the
That's right.
DT is one of like the most popular crankbaits. I would
Mhm.
say it's like
Gotta be
crazy
Yeah.
popular. I mean, like I'm not a fan of the 8, but I love the 6. The 6 is
Yeah, the 6 is really good.
that's the deal.
I feel like
I
the
can stop
cricket
breaking the
and
dang
the
things.
sides are catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, fritz side from a flat sided standpoint, like shallow, it's hard for
Mhm.
me to touch anything else besides the fritz side. But DT's got their place for dang sure. They smoke them. I'm so bad at breaking the dang things.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
I've ever
really
broken
bad
one.
about breaking DTs.
I have never broken a DT. I mean, if
The
not, you
funny
just
thing
replace the
is-
lip.
The DT was one of the few baits that, like, when you're like out for like 2-3 hours, and I was out with a friend. We're both throwing the tackle box, and we were fishing for smallmouth. And I had a like chartreuse and brown, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, you know what? Let me throw this on. I think I know smallmouth like the chartreuse, and I literally figured out the bite. And I felt good. I was just grinding the bottom like it was like a hump, and it came up to like 2 feet of water, and I was just
Mhm.
grinding it over that. And my boy was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta slow down. I'm just throwing a Ned rig and bouncing." And I was like, "Yeah." And then boom, I caught one, and then I
Not
caught
even
another
not
one,
even pay attention.
and then I caught another one. And he was like, "Oh, I think I might have to put a crankbait on." I was like, "Yes, you might." And it was funny too because he put one on, but he didn't have a DT. He didn't catch any on the crankbait.
So are your bills breaking, like just snapping, or are they coming out of the bait itself?
Coming basically out of the bait, essentially.
Okay. Are you like losing the bills, like or do you have them on hand?
They always come back. It's just the bill, and it's usually either after I've
Okay.
been grinding a bunch of they're well used, but there's times though I've had baits that are relatively new that I break off on fish. Like I'm just fighting them and it completely comes off,
Okay.
which has hurt me pretty
Yeah.
big in a tournament,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could. They sell replacement lips on lure parts online, so you can buy like cheap replacement lips, or you can cut them out of Lexington yourself, or just take some CA glue and put them on there before you throw them.
JP agrees.
See,
Yep.
usually if that
Yeah.
happens though, I'm so mad at the bait I throw it away in the garbage when I leave.
It's,
I want it out of my sight.
you can still use it.
When you drop a 6-pounder on one in a tournament,
Yeah, I bet.
you have a
That
vendetta
would-
against them.
Yeah, that hurts.
Definitely.
That hurts.
Yep.
Ooh, man. That's
Yeah,
pretty
don't
crazy.
smack Rapalas. I'm really bad about smacking baits too. I learned that really fast.
Mm-hmm.
That goes
I
for
bet.
honestly a lot of hard bait, but just about every hard bait.
Well,
Don't do it.
I've broken the front of the resin on this one like multiple times.
Mm.
Like just the whole face came off, so I had to put another face on it. It's just like use a car filler and put that on there. Just buy new lips or cut them. It's just
You get crafty
big
with
pain
your
on
lips.
that. Yeah, I had to piece them together once they've been fished out like that.
Well, there's a good question for you, Bailey. What's the most like modifications you do to a bait? Because Brendan's over here, he's a nut. He'll do like 75 modifications to one spin bait.
I
I
would
fill
say
it with
like
foam and stuff, do crazy stuff.
like crankbaits, like deep crankbaits.
Yeah, like I'm nuts with it.
I can get them especially if you're fishing super deep. I'd say like
Mhm.
a bait that I modify the most is probably either a top water or a jerk bait.
Okay,
I have
yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
From like a
Nice.
weighting system with a jerk bait type of deal. But really, if like top waters, it's double split ring the back treble, oversized the back treble, play around, and then I do. There's some people that put like barrels, like barrel swivels to the front swivel or to the front O-ring, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, there's a couple different things you can do. I think that double O-ring on the back treble on top waters is a big deal. That's one
Okay.
that I took from Hellabass, who's in the chat. He taught me that I think about a year and a half,
Okay.
2 years ago. That's helped big time. Like
Nice.
jerk baits, it's swapping hooks. It's whether you want it to suspend or sink or float, or you can distribute different treble hooks. And I think that from a modification standpoint, it's what I do. But beyond that, I mean, there really isn't too many other baits besides like swapping trebles and components that I really modify.
Yeah, I always swap out trebles and rings on every bait I own. Every bait gets a new treble hook. Sometimes I paint them. I paint them white to match the belly because, I mean, a black hook on a white bait doesn't look natural at all, stuff like that. But I think that makes a big difference. I think it does, but, maybe it doesn't. So I don't want to keep you too long here because it's already an hour and, don't want to be respectful of your time and whatnot. So
it's a tundra up here. I got nothing else better to do.
You guys are young.
I'm enjoying talking fishing. Yeah.
Do you oh yeah, here's a good question. How did you guys meet? Because I know he's a proficient guide up there.
Yeah, Andy's a full-time guide up here on Lake Erie, full-time smallmouth guide. Andy and I have been fishing same lakes here in New York for 5-6 years or so, at least that we've known. Really been in touch since then. We became knew of each other, seeing at boat ramps and stuff like that. Became friends on social media, stayed in touch, and started the podcast deal. And one day I was like, "Hey, we should get you on the show." We started talking fishing, and it came to my 100th episode. That I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a live show for once," and had him on. I was like, "I need a co-host. I don't know how to talk to myself on live. I feel like this is kind of weird." So I was like, "I need a co-host." I was like, "Hey." Yeah, we always jived super well. So I was like, "Hey, you want to come talk fishing with me?" And became my co-host. But we just met through just seeing each other at boat ramps and stuff like that, and just fishing the same areas, and just connected through social. And now he's going to be in my wedding here in the coming fall. So
nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I see awesome. Michael also asked us Andy guide for their species. All through the winter, he's a steelhead guide. So if anybody wants a smallmouth guide or steelhead guide, he's your dude.
Very cool.
I think the last time I watched Andy, he was sick.
He's always sick. He's always
I mean, I heard him talking about the OSP Blitz crankbaits when he was sick. I think it was the last time I watched it. He really likes those.
Thanks, man. Oh yeah,
those are good baits. I like those. They're a little expensive for a crankbait, but they're good.
They are, dude. And I always said, I was like, besides like a Vision 110, that I was never going to spend more than $20 for one single bait, like especially a crankbait, until we were literally on the Niagara River, and I'm throwing a rock crawler, and he's throwing an OSP, and he went 10-1 on me. The same exact cast, same setup, same line, same everything, like similar color, and I was just like, okay. I'm sold. Dropped $300 on OSPs that night, and I was like, "Sign me up." And then I went back and because I literally we switched rods to see if maybe he was doing something different than me. Then I started catching him. He didn't. It was like, okay, a crankbait is not a crankbait.
What's the difference? Is it like something you can call
body
out?
Shape, bill. It's really, I think it's really more the bill makeup and the body shape of really just how that bait comes through rock. But also just the wiggling action. That's really the best thing I can put down. Is the bill is completely different. It's almost like a teaspoon, whereas like the rock crawler is like a big soup spoon, if that makes any sense. Like it's very wide, thicker bill, where the OSP is kind of like got that hourglass teaspoon shape to it. That just gives it a little bit different action. One that I have found though that keeps up with it now is the Berkley Money Badger. The new Berkley crank.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that. Like they are. Everyone, especially
old Rudd's selling Tackle Warehouse out of them now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. They seem like a good bait. They seem like a very.
So you want to know why I haven't bought one? Because I can't get the Firetail green crawl, whatever it's called. Every time they have every other color but that, and I'm like, oh well, I'm not buying it until I get that one.
That is a dynamite color.
I want that. So
how about you could buy all those other colors, Jermaine, and just send it to me and I'll paint it. I'll paint it for you. There you go.
Special.
There you go. That custom painted stuff, that's the deal.
Yeah, I love doing that. It's so much fun. But Matt here, he is, there's anything JDM out there, Matt knows it,
that's the
and he
man.
knows it well. I mean, if you ever want to hit, he's a great guy to have on the show. We've had him on here a few times. This man knows some stuff.
Yeah, we got to get him back on here when I have an energy drink. I think I almost fell asleep on him last time.
Yeah, we'll go like 5 hours.
Yeah.
We'll go down rabbit holes that are down rabbit holes.
It's good info. Let her rip.
Definitely.
Might be some truth to that.
There we go. Oh,
Might be some truth to that. Good sense with the money badger.
Jermaine, you
I
were
think-
the
I mean,
Sixth Sense
you know,
fanboy.
I am a little bit.
Berkeley and Sixth Sense, you're big on those two brands.
Yeah.
I tried the Berkeley spinner baits and or the one spinner bait, the big 1 ounce one with the, I think it's a number 6 black blade, and it wouldn't run right. So I had to tune the whole spinner bait to get it to run right. And I was like, what is this? Maybe a defect? And we got to talking, and all the people in our little chat group, and I was like, maybe this is just a defect. So now I need to buy like 4 more to see if it's just a defect.
Yeah.
So,
think so.
maybe it's just a tuning issue or something. I don't know.
But the
But
Berkeley's from my dad, and then the Sixth Sense was just me and I got a
Obsessions.
weird thing. And honestly, it's not even like it is like I like Sixth Sense, their colors, but it's just like it's a life. My 6 is my life number. I was born on the 6th. My dad was born on the 16th. My older brother was born on the 16th or the 6th. My girlfriend's born on the 16th. My mom was born in 66. My apartment number, all the numbers add up to 6. I used to live at house number 6, the house before this.
Oh, dang,
there's
dude.
a lot-
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of 6s. So that's like my life number.
Can't see that.
Yeah. So that's another thing behind the Sixth Sense too. I like that. But they do make some
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yep. And the slobber knocker, they knocked it out of the park with that bait.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
of us really like that bait. It has a time and a place against like the jackhammer or the moth or the bee or the brake blade. They all have their time and place. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the slobber knocker. Bailey, you throwing the slobber knocker just yet?
Oh yeah, I've been throwing the slobber knocker for a while. So that's the one cool part. My full-time job is I run the PR team over for everything freshwater wise for Pure Fishing. So
okay,
like
very cool.
you seen the new scoop on the call shad that was dropped at Redcrest.
Mm-hmm.
I've known about that for a little bit, and it was like one of those
Yeah.
deals where we told the guys, "Hey, don't talk about this at Redcrest. You know, you're gonna have them, you can throw them. Don't talk about it." Evan Evers first day, the coal shed. And I'm like, oh god, here we go. Now I'm gonna have to work more. Talk because media come running to me. Hey, we need our hands on these coal sheds. Like, it's a cool deal. Slobber knocker, I've been throwing for a little while now. It's got
I
its
saw
place.
Matt Robertson laid it down on the coal shed.
Yep, 31 pound.
Yeah, I
bag,
saw videos of that right away.
19 for 3. Yeah, he had a mega bag, but it's cool. No, a slobber knocker's got its place. I'll keep it real with you guys because obviously I'll show favoritism to the people that support me type of deal, but slobber knocker has its place, but I still throw a jackhammer, especially heavily around grass, where slobber knocker, believe it or not, is really good around wood.
Yes.
Yep, that's where
Yes,
we both
sir.
use it.
Yes,
I
sir.
use the slobber knocker in the wood and the chatterbait or jackhammer in the grass. Those
So
are
I think my like first time out with the slobber knocker, I literally took the cast where I said, this is gone. And it came back. Like usually, with a jackhammer, you like cast it over wood and you take that deep breath, like, oh man, why did I just do that? And it's like,
Oh yeah.
because it's gonna roll. And you're like, well, for you, you're just like, oh, I just blew up this spot, I gotta go get it. But for me, I'm on the bank primarily, and I'm like, oh, there goes that. Please come over, boom, and it just doesn't do it. But I did that with the slobber knocker. It just stopped vibrating and just came on out, and then it started coming again. I was like, whoa. And I did it through the same cast again just to see. But yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah,
Adam,
I do wish I had the Berkeley Japan baits. I asked about it all the time because I follow them on Instagram, and I just send a bunch of baits to my people that work over there. I'm like, how can I get some? How can I get some? Like, what does a man got to do to get some of these things? I'll fly over there if I have to.
Oh, I'll get you the link to some of them if you need it. Matt and I,
Man, you got the scoop?
we all do. There's plenty of places you
Oh,
can get them
see, I'm
at.
horrible about this stuff, man. I don't even know where to
Yeah,
You just gotta
Bailey,
do
you might
some
need. I'm
digging.
telling you, this little fishing group chat we got. There's some juice in there.
hook
I
me up,
try
boys.
not to do it because Matt will have me spend a paycheck on all this JDM stuff. So I've kind of vowed to not go down the rabbit hole of JDM.
Matt has gotten Adam Odin out of a lot of his money and spent a lot of it on JDM stuff. But he also has a question for you.
Yeah, out of
interesting one.
curiosity, how did they come up with the name Slobberknocker? To my knowledge, I don't have the full scoop. I think basically they showed him the bait, and somebody was kind of like taken aback. They're like, "Oh man, that was a Slobberknocker." Because people used to say that back in the day, like, "Holy
Yep.
crap, look at that thing!" type of deal. I think they just looked at it like, "Oh yeah, that's the name. Like, let's call it that." So like Slobberknocker. I don't know.
Man, it's interesting.
So, I think so, but we'll have to double check on that. Get back to you.
That sucks, Dave. I've done that.
Man. I don't fish green pumpkin very often, or really at all.
Yeah, Brendan's
Black
got
and blue
this.
and June bug.
Yeah, thank
I'll
you.
live in
Get him,
Iowa,
Bailey.
pumpkin.
Get him.
June bug. That's it. That's all you need down here.
Oh yeah,
For a
you're
fish,
Georgia
it's
boy.
it's like all dirty water.
You,
Barely
you
fishing
still
anything
gotta
3 feet
mix in
more.
that GP, man. Those fish eat the
That's
GP.
No, you don't.
You know what you got to get? You got to
Cannot
get
spit on
that
it.
Tackle Warehouse. There's a Tackle Warehouse exclusive color for the X Zone Adrenaline Claw. I think
Oh,
it's
purple and
yeah,
it's green pumpkin and purple. I love that
green
color
pumpkin
too.
Yeah.
purple.
I just can't
There's
get
a-
bit on straight green pumpkin. It just doesn't.
There's a
work.
good one from Missile Baits with the D-Bomb GP3. It's like kind of like that GP purple you talked
Yeah.
about. That is my absolute favorite color. But I mean, you got to mix it up a little bit, man. There's some rivers and stuff you could throw straight green pumpkin on,
I don't fish rivers, man. It's all ponds and lakes.
and they're all
The
dirty.
rivers here are dirty too. Yeah, the rivers are dirty. Everything's dirty. There's nothing around here that's clean.
I don't understand it.
You got to go really up north if you do that.
I guess we'll
I
let
know
it slide
exactly.
from there.
There you go.
There are
Adam.
other colors
Exactly.
besides black and blue. Come on now.
Yeah. South
So
African
that's kind of how I
special.
feel about black and blue, I guess, because black and blue, like it does work. Actually, I cooked a really good fish on black and blue, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about it like black and blue. Don't throw it in clear water. Like this time of year, I throw black and blue almost before I throw green pumpkin, especially because it's like largies like out of ice. They're looking to eat. Bluegills up shallow, black and blue. I mean, granted, our fish are stupid in the Northeast. They'll eat everything you throw at them. Like, I feel like that has some rhyme or reason to it.
A straight black is really underrated though. Like everyone throws black and blue. Not many
yeah,
people throw
I got
straight
black
black.
jigs.
It's
You know,
like
I wasn't going to
underrated.
say that, but you exposed that too.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
I was kidding. I'm kidding. It is, dude. No, I agree. Straight black is the deal too, especially like dirty water and clean water. It's more like a
I
low
love
light
brown.
deal. First thing.
Presents a profile that's great for the fish. It's just
Mhm.
it's there.
Stands out. Yep.
So yeah.
Where are you staying, Jermaine?
All right.
What color is it?
I love brown. Love brown.
Like a green pumpkin or like
Oh.
a
No, like
straight.
brown. Like Sixth Sense makes a finesse jig called Brownie, and it's just brown.
Mhm.
I kill him. Kill him on that thing.
So is that dark? Is that darker or lighter than a green pumpkin?
I guess it's like a darker green pumpkin.
Darker.
I mean, it's just like it's
brown?
Just literally just straight brown.
Okay.
It's just a straight brown jig.
I don't know if
I'm
that
pretty sure they call it Brownie. But
You know what,
yeah,
Jake? I can get behind too on that kind of like weird off the wall stuff. Like sometimes I have black and blue jigs, but straight purple. I love straight purple for whatever reason.
Okay, can you please talk to Berkeley and make them make a June bug jig? Just straight June bug. They need to make a June bug jig.
Pretty
Please.
sure
We
do
need
have
that.
straight June bug.
They have a BL special, but that's it. There's no
You talking slobber
there's no
knocker or you
June
talking
bug
jig?
jig, as in pitching jig. Pitching,
Okay.
flipping, punching style.
I could have sworn.
We need a
I'm
straight
probably bad
June
at my
bug.
job. Let me see.
Because I mean, like, that's just like a killer color down here.
They do have a
I
June
only
bug.
know of
those-
I only know of 2 brands that make June bug
they
jigs.
do have it.
They got straight June bug. I knew
How
it
have
wasn't
I
that
not
bad
known
as my
about
job.
this?
I'll send
What
you a
in the
link in
world?
the private chat here.
Okay.
But you know what? I'll put it in
Alright,
the
then.
in the chat for everybody else too.
What the heck? All right, I'm making an order. I'll be right back. That's
There
great.
he
Okay.
is. That's what I was gonna say.
Wow. Didn't even know that.
Blacklight.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we got it. Like, I don't know for
Because
sure.
I know Biko makes one. It has an 11-knot hook, and that thing's legit. That thing's like just a monster of a jig. Awesome. It has a beautiful green pump, or not green pump, but June bug.
Yeah, it's a knockout color.
Get him.
Listen, I have spent so much money on hard baits, on resin baits, on plastic baits to make that I don't want to do one more thing. My shop is full enough with bait making stuff that I don't want to do one more extra bait making thing in there. I already have
Heard that.
enough stuff that I bought.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, think you want to end it here? Anything you want to end on, Mr. Bailey?
Nah, I
Any,
appreciate you boys.
shout outs or
inviting me.
anything?
It's been fun.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. Hopefully the people enjoyed this stream, and yeah, do you shout out any of your sponsors or people you want to shout out or make fun of? Either one.
I can make fun of a lot of people. No, just
Roger
appreciate
Beard
you
is
boys
beautiful.
having me on. Yeah,
Sir.
it's been fun. Hopefully you guys have me back. This was a good time. We got to get you guys over on Serious Angler, but if
All
you
right,
guys want to check
sweet.
out, Be the Fish on YouTube, follow on social medias. We have a bunch of great show partners. Too many to go and
Mhm.
list out and rattle off and do a whole speech, but we have a great support group. I will say though, one shout out is if anybody has boat or kayak here, and you're looking for batteries, X2 Power just is tomorrow. So you guys are actually technically getting the full scoop, the first scoop. X2 is launching brand new models of lithium batteries tomorrow. So if you guys
Very
are
cool.
in the market, check them out. But beyond that, just appreciate you guys. It's been fun.
Nice.
All right.
Brother,
See you guys
appreciate that.
next week. We will have Matt and Stefan on.
Next week.
Yeah. All right.
Next
Thank you
Wednesday.
guys.